welcome back. We are ready for race 2 of the LRC versus ARL server battle. I am joined by Dinosaur and is it Ads in here? It is
It
Ads
is
in here.
ads, yeah, it's ads.
I'm bad with names. Gotta give me some slack on that one.
Yeah, should be a good race here. It's the fastest of the fast from both servers joining up on this one. ARL couldn't send a full 7, but the guys they sent should give them a good showing. I'm really looking forward to this battle.
I'm getting excited already. I know there's a why is that all the way down? I need to go up. There we go. That's fixed. You couldn't really hear us for a second. It's super quiet in their ears, but yeah, a lot of aliens from both servers right now. It looks like Wonka is joining in. Dutra, one of the fastest drivers in the LRC
World.
server. Oh yeah. I was just gonna say the server, but if you want to just flat out say the world, yeah, no, that would be true too.
Unfortunately, we're missing a couple of the super fast ARL guys. I know one of them came down with COVID this week, Dr. Spider Pig. Heard lots of stories about his speed. Unfortunately, I think he had to work today, but maybe we'll get another chance to do it again in the future and fill it out, have full battles. But what we got here is gonna be good tonight. Curious to see the strategies. Looks like KG is going with the strategy of sitting in the pit lane. Looks like might be riders are going to be our first driver around the track. And speaking on that, Ads, what did you notice about your race that you think these guys are going to have to deal with?
I realized during the race that it was possible to do a one-stop. I don't know if it was a faster strategy. Looking back, it might have been better to do 2 on 3 sets of mediums. Might have been the optimal strategy.
Yes,
With the new physics update, I'm just a bit wary of those tires, so I went on 2 sets of hards, but I think I was losing time to the people on mediums.
That's interesting.
I was gonna ask because I haven't had experience yet, and you guys, doing that first race have experience on the new physics. How did it feel versus maybe when you first started to try and make the setups for this event? Like those physics versus the new physics now.
Sorry. Go ahead, Dan.
I was gonna say the new physics definitely change how the cars drive. You can tell, with the braking, the ABS is very different. Cars get a little uneasy under braking a lot more often, but overall the physics feel good, especially in the racing cars like the GR4, GR3 cars. Feels really good.
I don't know if you felt it as well, Dino, but there was a few moments where you can now feel when you're about to lose it, and you can bring it back if you lift a little and
Yes. Yeah, it almost feels like they have that effect of the tires skipping on the ground. Like you can feel it in your wheel when it's about to go a whole lot better. The feedback, I could tell a big difference as well.
I did notice is it when your tires are under halfway down, it is a lot harder to control. But also the first lap on fresh tires I found a little bit difficult as well, which normally didn't used to happen.
Yeah, it felt like it took about a good lap and a half to 2 laps to really get heat into the hards before they were optimal.
But then, I guess, did you run 2 sets of hards as well? So we only have experience with that.
My original strategy, I was going to take my hards 14 laps. I could take them 14 in practice, and then I was going to push 9 laps on medium second stint. But I spent my whole first 12-lap stint fighting with Peppers, so I could have gone another lap on the hards, but another 2 would have gotten really questionable. So I made the call just to go hard.
Yeah, well that's what I figured. I figured it was 30 minutes when I was thinking about pitting. I was like, well, I'll just do a one-stop and take another set of hards. I wouldn't risk the mediums, but it was actually Peppers. I nearly gave away my position to him on the bus stop on the last lap because I was losing the hard so badly by that point.
Looks like we're about to start getting some times on the board here. We're going to see where these guys are panning out. Off the rip, they're quicker than anything we put up in the first race. 230.666. That's quick. 230.1% coming out.
Toasty coming in.
229 for Toasty. 229.4 for Azazel provisional pole. Coming in with the quickness, boys. Selic's coming down. He's in the 229s as well. Another 229 from Willie. We're saying this is the race that's got all the speed in it right here. As you see, like riders coming in, and he's down to 8th place, and his time was over a second faster than anything we did last race.
Wonka even 7/10 off on the leader right now. Toasty coming back into the pits after their first lap.
He's probably
time
going
lap.
for another fresh set of softs, I'd assume, to try and put an even better lap down.
Speaking of aliens,
with the 228.8, absolutely flying with his controller. That's right, folks. He's on a controller, going that fast.
Using the motion control as well.
it's like that old saying back in like Mario Kart of I use tilt controls. Except Dutra takes it to a whole nother level.
Yeah, yeah. He's just built differently.
Azazel now 6/10 of a second slower than Dutra so far. Back on an outlap on a fresh set of softs looking. It looks like it's a LRC 123 right now.
Well, right now we're about to see about 20-30 seconds away from getting the group of guys that didn't go in immediately after they finished the first lap. Looks like Sandite's coming up to the bus stop now, about to put in a second hot lap. It's looking good so far, clean coming up through the bus stop.
Dutra back onto their out lap, got a fresh set of softs themselves to get ready for another flying lap in their qualifying run. To try to find someone not on an out lap, as it looks like Sandite. I say that and they go right back into the pits. Commentator cursing everything. About par for the course for me.
So, looks like Aiden has just started his proper lap.
I'll say Aiden looks like he hasn't pitted yet. His tire wear is pretty rough. I know I went out and did 3 hot laps in a row on my softs, and I regretted it. I should have pitted after the first out lap and got a fresh set and pushed after that.
Aiden getting really close on that last part of Rouge going into Radion. Kind of testing the track limit there. Very easy to get that penalty there if you're not careful.
Yeah, we learned that in the last race. Very, very easy. Because if you try and take it flat, you've got to at least lift through Eau Rouge, because only slightly,
No, you
but...
don't.
Well, I did, because I kept getting penalties.
I found you have to be...
You have to time the turn in perfectly and put your right-hand side tires on the inside curb, or the curb coming up Radion, or you're going to be too far to the left and you're going to pick up the penalty.
Dutra doing an interesting strategy.
Get the downforce set right. You can take a Eau Rouge and Radion flat, lots of speed. That was where I was gaining on you, Ads. I was putting purples down in sector 1, pulling about 3/4 a second a lap, and then you just left me the rest of the lap.
Yeah, I got so many penalties, I just didn't even risk it. I didn't like. I tried to go through it flat once and picked up a 2-second penalty. I was like, yeah, I'll just lift a little.
It looks like Dutra was maybe delaying their start for this next lap so they could get that full lap at the last minute.
Yeah, clean air for Dutra now. If he can improve on that time, and he's already got over half a second on everyone else on the grid at the moment.
Ryder picked up a penalty for his last hot lap. Looks like Toasty's gonna be our first one across after the timer expires.
Toasty getting ready to go to the chicane. Sitting provisional third place right now. Nice and clean on through the exit of that last corner there. And does improve on his time.
Second, yes, 228.9. Good lap for Toasty.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Azazel coming in behind.
Is Dutra going to be able to improve? That's the question.
I got Azazel, Dutra, and Wonka still on track. Azazel's going to be our next driver coming through. He's coming through the bus stop right now. He's going to be putting his lap down. It's going to be close. I don't think he's going to move up the leaderboard.
Nope.
Does not make an improvement on his time.
Cam Wonka, though.
Oh, Wonka, 229.2. He makes an improvement. Moves up to third. So all we've got left on track is Dutra. Already locked up pole, but looks like he's trying to improve on that 228.8.
Hard braking zone into the chicane.
Dutra was going 148 to the bus stop. I haven't seen 148 in all of my practice.
Wow, there you
go. 228.6. What a lap, Dutra.
I already thought that first one was going to be the best time, and then Dutra's like, here, hold my water.
I think that sticker on the back of his car says it all.
As I'm trying to see who's still making a lap. Maybe the guys in the pits.
We got any laps. We got a couple of guys in the pit, so we're gonna be sitting here for another 15 seconds, and then that 3 minutes will be hit up. Dutra ate up most of that time with his last hot lap.
That'd be interesting to see what tires that they choose to go on, especially with Dutra being on controller. I think it might be a bit more punishing on his tires now, and his driving style. Obviously, he's very, very quick over one lap, but is that gonna be seen in the race itself with that heavy tire wear?
As we take a look at the results here for qualifying, Dutra's going to lock up your pole position, followed behind by Toasty. Wonka third, Azazel fourth, Fullness Kinetic fifth, Willie in sixth, Sellet coming off of race one and doing another race, so probably got to keep up their endurance. Got to make sure they stay hydrated. In seventh, MPT Sandite in eighth, R Ryder ninth, Aiden Maddock in 10th, and KG rounding out your field in 11th position.
I'm gonna give a little shout out to Sandite and that Ricky Bobby number 19 car. That thing is pristine.
I'd also like to point out the gap for qualifying times less than 3 seconds from first to the back of the field.
Yes.
But LRC locking out the front 2 rows there. Although having more entrants, it's a little bit unfair.
It is. We'll have to see what happens in the race. But
qualifying's one thing.
Jab those guys a little bit after the ARL podium lockout at the end of race 1. They need to pick it up, give us a good showing.
Anything can happen in the race trim. Qualifying's one thing, but race is a whole nother monster.
That's true. That is true. With the heavy damage on and the multiple strategies, I'm sure there will be a handful of one stops versus the two stops. You never know what's going to happen.
Do you think we
Hopefully,
might?
we get some rain. Yeah, I hope so.
Do you think we'll also see kind of like what happens with the league in LRC on Tuesdays, where the Division 2 drivers kept it clean, and then the Division 1s, there was like one or two incidents there.
It gets sent a little harder in Division One, but I think
Yeah.
we're not on an oval, and these cars are fairly easy to control. They make for good tight racing. It's actually a spec from the ARL guys. They ran a series with this car. And yeah, it's fun. It does promote tight racing. I think this race is going to be a lot tighter and more action packed than the first one, where we spread out a lot after about 2-3 laps. I don't think we're going to see so much of that here. I think these guys are going to be door to door for the next 60 minutes once we kick off.
That should make for a good race.
A quick look at the event settings for those of us that, or for those that may be jumping into the broadcast brand new. It's going to be a 60-minute endurance race, more of a sprint race if you don't count an hour as an endurance race, but endurance for Gran Turismo 7 for sure. Random weather with a false start check for the grid start, and the big thing, heavy damage is on.
Yes. We're also running the tire wear 8 times, so tires are going to play a big factor in this race with an extra slow 3 liter per second refuel. Pit stops with a full refuel is a little over a minute long, so you got to plan your strategy out, account for it all the time. You're going to be sitting still.
You're going to see the go down to the penalties. You've got your strong shortcut penalties, so make sure you're not going to full send all the way through a rouge and get a penalty. You've got your pit lane line cutting penalty on, and the flag rules, of course, are going to be enforced out here at Spa.
And with the weather being, I mean, we were quite lucky in the first race that it just stayed dry for the whole thing, but if rain comes in, that could also play a big factor.
I know on the iRacing service, they did their 24 hours of Spa, and it was like off and on rain up until the last bit where it just stayed in the wet. So maybe we'll see that, maybe not. Certainly at the moment, it looks like it's just a nice cloudy day here at Spa. What do you think the strategy would be when if rain starts coming in, though?
If rain does come in, I assume everyone will probably just switch it to intermediates and try and continue to put down as fast laps as possible, but
It's going to depend on when it comes in. It could bring softs into play. So far, the soft tires haven't been into play at all, but if we get rain in the middle of the race and drier line develops for the end, it might be time to put on some slicks and go for it.
As we're starting to get our first round of drivers saying that they are ready, hands on the wheels. I'm definitely excited to see what the fastest drivers in LRC and ARL are looking to be doing.
Well, it should be a good one. Our leader over here at LRC, creator of the server, actually got his roots racing in the leagues with ARL before he created LRC. So it's full circle for Mr. Wonka.
I know Scarecrow in the chat saying that Wonka is being counted as ARL for their side too. So a little bit of a double team there.
Not.
All right, we're missing a couple of R's off the chat. Who hasn't done it? Don't want to start with any landmines on the grid.
Especially when it's that grid start.
Yes.
As I can take a peek, actually. I didn't realize I could do that. And take a peek at the radar. So far, radar looks pretty clear. So we will see if the rain does start to come in, but at the moment, I don't think it's gonna be that much of a factor at the race start.
It looks like all our drivers are ready.
Yes, it does. And we're gonna start here in about 15 seconds.
Molded Wonka in the fires of Mount Fuji. Someone just put on the horn. Don't know who it was.
And we're green.
And it looks like Toasty got a little bit of a better jump, but Dutra with the better acceleration as they get ready to go into the first corner. Too wide for the most part.
Pretty clean through turn one.
Yep.
I think everybody has made it through.
Dutra already creating something of a gap at the front there.
Looks like it's a little Willie and Sellet are going the door through Eau Rouge and up Radion. Are they going to be able to keep it on track? Yes, a little bit of contact. Everybody's okay though.
The
I think
19 me car got a
someone might
little
pick
wide.
up a penalty there, though.
We got a mob of cars just from 6th on down to 11th. They're all super tight. Dutra's trying to just pull away from the pack.
It's Fullness Kinetics picked up a 1 second penalty, which is going to bring those cars behind him right back into play.
It is still 2 cars wide in some parts of the field here. I know for 7th and 8th it looks like, as that I can't tell if that's the M&M's car or not, but they are ahead of the Ricky Bobby scheme. Kind of poking that that would be Sandite. No, Willie was poking around looking at Sellet. And while the gap may be there, it seems like it's not as large out of the first few corners as it was in the first race. Only about 5 seconds, 6 seconds from the back of the field towards where Dutra is at.
Yeah, the drivers out in front in clean air are definitely at an advantage right now. There's a lot of fighting going on mid-pack. It looks like this penalty for Kinetics about to throw a wrench in things too. It's going to throw him back into the pack behind him.
There's the forced acceleration. Sellet behind with Willie on the side.
Oh, they barely squeezed through. That was a tight line between Sellet, Willie, and Kinetic.
KG also going to get past Kinetic there.
Sellet taking a bit of a wide line into the bus stop, but then a very tight line coming out, holding his position.
There's a little bump there. Looked like Willie got into the back of Sellet a little bit and lifted off, so he didn't overtake him on that.
KG gonna take the opportunity and say thank you for 2 positions and goes right on by and takes 6th place. As Dutra has definitely pulled away. The 2nd place Wonka now 3 seconds back. Battle for 4th getting close with R Rider and Azazel though.
Toasty is right on. Toasty's making the move on Wonka, coming down the inside. Takes the position. And while they battle, that allows Dutra to pull even further away.
Dutra going into a 4, almost 5 second gap now. Definitely appreciating the clean air and the battling going on behind him. As we see our rider starting to close in on Azazel as well, looking to move up a position into 4th.
Ryder still rocking the Maelstrom livery.
Gotta represent your roots. As Sell It and Kinetic in a very close fight for 8th here.
It looks like we got a lot of little battles forming up right behind them. Looks like Aiden Maddock is going to join that fight for 8th. And then you look right above, right in front of them, you got a fight for 6th with KG and Willie. Those guys aren't far behind that. If they stay in line and work a little bit together, they should catch up to the guys in front of them quite quick.
I think Willie was making a move around the outside of KG, but he has made it stick. Very nice. Yeah.
I didn't think he would, but call me wrong. As KG still not too far behind, but also Kinetic closing that gap slowly. Now was less than a second gap. Gap's going to be extended a little bit because of that because of the bus stop.
And Wonka now seems to... Toasty has pulled away a bit from Wonka, and there's sort of a bit of a battle looking like it's going to go on for this final podium position here between Wonka, Azazel, and Ryder. They're all very close together as they come through Eau Rouge.
Azazel rocking the 3rd of the Squirtle Squad cars.
That's right. Azazel made the Squirtle Squad cars.
I need that car now.
From scratch, he drew all the Squirtles in the Escape himself.
Yeah, I'm gonna need that now. Because I've fallen in love with the Squirtle Squad car. As Ryder looking.
Like Toasty's turning out some laps here. He's taking some time out of Dutra. We might get a fight for 1st on our hands before this is over with. Maybe in this first stint.
I'm getting kind of curious. Dutra doing well on their tire management. Not too... about the same as Toasty right now. Both of them on the medium.
Like scrolling through, I would say most people in this first group of about 6 cars here are going to be on that 2-stop strategy. So while it may look like there's some guys falling back, we're going to see how that plays out in a little bit when that strategy catches up. I see most of the guys in the back of the pack right now are on the hard tires. And your front runners are on medium, so that gap's going to close. They're going to have to pull out an extra pit stop to make it work by the end of the race.
I was scrolling through to look and see who was all on mediums and hards, and Sell It with a 1-second penalty. Looks like cutting the track limits there.
Looks like all 4 of the ARL crew in this race are going to go for that 1-stop strategy. We'll see if anybody pulls a 2-stop on hards. It's not the optimal strategy here. But if you're hard on tires and you push them hard the whole time, you can make it work.
Toasty putting down the fastest lap so far at 2:30.399.
Well, he just improved it with a 2:30.291.
291, sorry.
Yep. Toasty's taking about 3 to 5 tenths per lap out of Dutra at this pace, so.
Meanwhile, our rider only a little less than a second behind Azazel as they go through Eau Rouge into Radion. Looking to maybe get closer to try and make a move later on down the track. I say that, and there's a little closer fight for 6th place, KG and Willie.
So yeah, it looks like after about the 2nd lap, the hards really started to get into the temp. You can see some of these guys on the hards now are getting down into medium times.
Taking a
Oh,
peek
and
at this.
Toasty has closed that gap to Dutra to under 3 seconds now, so it's another couple of tenths he's taken off.
Taking a peek, it looks like KG kind of went a little wide there, trying to see if he could get a little extra speed off of Willie and gets a half-second
Got a
penalty.
half a second penalty for his efforts. The stewards are out and they're harsh today.
They saw what happened at the 24 Hours of Spa during the GT event. They were like, yeah, we're not letting anything like that happen again, so we're going to be even harsher on those penalties. Because I had a bit of a spectator tick up there. It looked like Willie was on the wall for a second, but still driving perfectly fine.
Willie is closing in on Azazel in that Squirtle Squad car. It's going to be a 3-man battle for 4th on this next lap.
Well, Toasty's taken nearly another second off Dutra up at the front here, so we may well have a battle for 1st on our hands in another lap or two. We can keep
not
closing
only
that time
is
down.
Toasty taking the time out of Dutra, he's also saving a little bit more fuel than Dutra does, so he's going to get some extra time when they come in to make that first pit stop.
And that fuel loading is so slow that that's going to make a big difference.
Yeah, Toasty just put in another fast lap, but 229.8.
Yeah.
He is getting quicker every lap.
Yeah.
Gonna keep an eye on that for you. Meanwhile, battle for 4th really heating up now. All 3 cars pretty much back to back to back, nose to tail, getting ready to go into a Rouge. And they are going to stay as close as they can. I don't know if they're trying to work together to get closer or if they're trying to fight amongst each other.
Looks like they're just staying in draft right now, trying to keep good time. I don't think Azazel's going to be making too many moves on Ryder this early in the race. Yeah, as we see, he gives him a little bump at the end of the straightaway there just for some speed.
Azazel setting down a purple Sector 1 right now, looking to maybe try for the faster lap.
Willie also put down a purple Sector 1 in Azazel's draft, so both those guys are flying.
Looks like Willie looked on the inside. He's gonna look on the inside.
It looks like KG's is starting to feel his tires a little bit. He's been overtaken by Fullness Kinetic. Just pushing to stay in the battle for 7th, but
Willie gonna inherit 5th place from Azazel. Ryder now kind of with the second gap. As I've just noticed, Aiden with a half-second penalty. I had to guess maybe cutting the course at a Rouge, and you can see Toasty right in the camera shot, gaining that ground on Dutra right now. Gap is less than 2.5 seconds. Both drivers not going into the pits quite yet. Gonna make the tires stick out a little longer.
I think in the end of lap 8 is when we'll probably be seeing our first round of pit stops. We've got a little longer to go till we get to the first pit window, but so far so good. Clean start to the race. No cautions yet. Hopefully we can make it through this race as well without having to see any CCs pop up on the game chat. Good clean racing from both groups.
Pushing it right to the edge of Eau Rouge there, but managing not to pick up a penalty. Just taking it, so definitely not lifting at all through there. And actually he's gaining a couple of tenths on Toasty now, increasing that lead again.
Meanwhile, battle for 4th starting to heat up once again. Our rider with less than half a second behind, ahead of Willie, and Azazel starting to come back in, saying, hey, I don't think y'all forgot about me, but just in case you did, I'm right behind you. They're about 13 seconds behind Dutra. As we have reached almost a quarter, I think almost a, no, yes, almost a quarter of the race length. We're almost at the 15-minute mark. I think a quarter, I think 25, then I have to remember, no, it's 15 minutes because 60 minutes. I can math, just not on the weekends.
This battle for 7th here between Kinetic and KG is getting intense. These guys are fighting door to door.
KG's
throughout
picked up
the
a
lap.
penalty again, which means as they come up through the back straight here, KG's gonna
he's probably
lose
gonna
some
be
time on
dropped down
Kinetic.
and be fighting with Sandite for the next lap.
Sandy's right there, waiting to take advantage of the penalty.
Yeah, he's gonna have the speed.
Oh, and
KG moves out
yeah.
of the way and let them through. He knows he doesn't have the speed to fight him right now, so he makes a proper move, lets him go.
Probably gonna look and see to make up that time lost in the bus stop. As Sandite, you ever wonder if you can put like if you had the option to, if you could put something in the car, if Sandite would put a plush cougar in the car?
Just have a cougar riding in the cockpit with them for this race. I don't know. We'll have to ask him after the chat, but I got a feeling he'd say yes.
I know I would if I was doing a Ricky Bobby scheme. So I'm going to take a peek now. Dutra extending that lead back to almost 3 seconds.
Yeah, purple sector. Dutra is pushing now. Like I said, we'll see in the next. It looks like Toasty's going to have a little bit more fuel than Dutra, so that refuel, it might get him a second or two in the pits if he's only 5 or 6% over.
Meanwhile, Wonka almost 8 seconds back from Toasty. So first and second kind of pretty much locked right now. Wonka not really interfering with that. Our rider close behind Wonka though, 3.5 seconds. And 5th and 6th, not too far behind him. As I'm getting drops again because of the storm. Curse you, Thor.
You still with the Joe?
Yeah.
He is. I could hear him a minute ago. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, no, he said he was getting dropped, and then he.
The stream.
Got a little leggy.
No, the broadcast was kind of dropping frames there because of the storm outside. But I think we're good. I think we're stable. We didn't fully disconnect. Maybe a few drop frames, but that's it. So don't need to restart the stream quite yet.
So it looks like our first pit stop of the race is being made by Toasty at the end of lap 7. He's trying to get his undercut on Dutra. Let's see how it plays out for him. He's going to go use less fuel, push 8 laps on the next 2 stints, and go for that undercut. See if he gets a little faster. He's going to drop down the standings. And then watch, Toasty's going to come out in 11th place. That's how close the pack is still together.
Wonka inheriting that 2nd place now. Dutra can kind of coast and save even more fuel if they want. 12-second gap between him and Wonka. As meanwhile, our rider and Willie in a fight for 3rd with Azazel close behind as well. Of course, they say that Aiden and KG in a very close fight. Looks like KG kind of wanted to take a peek on El Rouge there.
Oh, picked up a penalty for his trouble, too.
Yep, and Salet went by KG. KG has a second to have to give up. So probably not happy with that. Sell it trying to close the gap on Aiden though, about half a second.
I don't. Those two are working together. I've seen them lots of bump drafting down the streets and whatnot. They're both on a one-stop strategy play in the long game here. Battle for third is heating up. Those medium tires of Ryder are just about melted off the car, and Willie and Azazel and the Hards are both just chopping at him, ready to get by. Next straightaway, you're gonna see Ryder fall down in the 5th place. He just does not have the grip to keep up this pace.
Willie's looking for an opening at the moment. I think trying to make his way past Ryder. We can get a better exit here.
Azazel kind of giving Willie a little bit of a bump to try and maybe help get past Ryder there.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think Willie's gonna do it. He's gonna fall back in line and let Ryder go. He knows Ryder strategies on the pits. Looks like Dutra's coming in for his first stop.
Yeah.
Willie gonna take a look on the inside.
Gets the move done though. Ryder wanted to pit, nearly got blocked from the pit entrance by Azazel there, but thankfully I think Azazel realized what was happening and allowed him a bit of room.
Look like so we're gonna have Willie Azazel bonus kinetic on the podium now. See what we're looking at. This is the one stop, guys. I'm not sure what exactly Willie's doing. I think he might be going on the one stop.
I just think over 60 minutes, I think the two, although that, because you only need to take fuel once, so the second stop will be a lot quicker, or take two smaller amounts of fuel.
So the fuel tank is about 14 laps. So if you pit on lap 8, like where most of the medium guys are pitting, they're gonna have to take some fuel on the second stop.
That said, thanks to the pit stops, it's the little close gap between Willie and Azazel makes for an interesting little fight for first. As I think this is the closest that first and second have been in since the start of the race, pretty much.
Yeah. Azazel was closing that gap, but
if you guys look at the undercut too, back at the back of the pack, not only has Toasty made the overtake on Dutra, he's got about 4 seconds of space between him and Dutra right now. So the undercut took about 7 seconds out of Dutra for Toasty.
Aiden looking like he's gonna try and gain some ground on Sellet. About 3/10 behind him. As your race leader getting ready to head towards the bus stop and get ready for lap 10 is Willie, followed by Azazel.
Willie is slowly extending that
Oh,
lead.
and Toasty's sideways
Oh no.
and spinning. Gonna kind of park it off the track real quick, spin her back around.
Nope, gotta rejoin safely. That's unfortunate for Toasty. Just got a little bit of the curb and lost the car.
No damage though, so not going to have to make an unnecessary pit stop for that. Managed to keep it clean and off the wall.
Yeah, he only did lose about 15 seconds, so that's gonna really hurt Toasty's race at the end. Hopefully he can get his head down and just hang out some quick laps. Looks like Azazel's pitted at the end of lap 9, so he's might be on a 2-stop strategy as well.
Sandite half a second behind Kinetic for a battle for second place right now. So
Toasty was struggling around a couple of corners there, I think due to his now dirty tires, but it looks like he's got it back under control.
it's got a bit of a
Yeah,
gap.
it looks like Toasty made a switch to hards for that second stint, and he doesn't quite have the grip that he wants out of them yet. As we talked about earlier, they take about 2 laps to fully heat up around here.
Yeah. But then about 6 laps later, they start losing grip again. So, but I guess the mediums are going to be even worse for that.
As it looks like
And that was a purple sector for Toasty though, so.
Dutra back on, turning on the jets, about to lose Wonka now with a 5-second gap. As your battle for second place still heating up between Sandite and Kinetic. As while there's a little bit of a lull in the action, let's take a look through the field right now. Willie, of course, your leader, followed by Kinetic and Sandite close behind. Round out your top 3. Sell it in 4th. Aiden Matic 5th. Dutra running 6th on a very fast car. Wonka 7th. Toasty in 8th. R Rider 9th. Azazel 10th. KG in 11th.
There's now a battle for second between 2 of the ARL drivers, Kinetic
Yep,
and
they're going to take the
Sandite.
lead. Willie's in the pit, so he's going to drop down the pack. Sellett's coming into the pits as well. So at least for lap 11, it looks like we'll have an ARL podium.
Sandite looking like they're looking on the inside.
Sandite and Kinetic getting a little close there in the source as they come down into Eau Rouge. The Sandite takes the lead. Lap 11.
I don't imagine Sandite gonna be too much longer on those tires. Those tires looking a little worn down. Probably in the next 3 laps or so, gonna think about coming into pit. Kinetic not too far behind him, actually with a little more tire wear than Sandite. So maybe pitting a lap or 2 earlier than them.
Yeah, I think Kinetic might have to come in at the end of 11. Sandite and Aiden Matic might stretch it out 12 before they come in. We'll see.
Just picking up a half a second penalty there though, which is probably going to allow Dutra with his incredible pace to catch up even more.
Kinetic, that left front looking really worn down now. Definitely has to be feeling it in the car for sure.
He's lost a lot of time to Sandite there.
I'm gonna ride on with Aiden real quick to see how far the gap gets eaten into by Dutra already before the penalty, sitting at about 3.5 second gap.
Yeah, this is going to be like this time of the race is when Dutra's going to have to make up his most time. He's still got pretty good mediums. The guys he's chasing are at the end of their one-stop stint, so their tires are falling off a cliff right now. Dutra needs to be pushing, trying to make up as much time as possible because it looks like everybody in this race probably still has one more pit stop to make.
Dutra's closed the gap on Aiden Matic now, a little less than 2 seconds.
Kinetic drops into the pits. Sandite and Aiden Matic are gonna keep it out for one more lap before they come in.
I just looked over to see Kinetic's tire wear, and I would have pitted about the same time too, looking at that left front.
He didn't have any option. He would have, with the new tire model update, if he would have risked it for one more lap, it probably would have been bad news. now once one of them tires goes, it goes.
As Dutra's closed the gap, less than a second behind Aiden Maddock for second now.
And Dutra also picking up the fastest lap at some point.
Dutra, as Andy's put down a purple sector in Sector 1, so he is continuing to put down hot lap after hot lap.
And he is right on Aiden's bumper now. Just looking for that opportunity.
Taking a peek on the inside,
Oh,
gonna make it stick.
Oh, he makes it stick. Oh, it's clean.
Oh, no contact there from Dutra. Good pass. It was very tight, though.
Yeah, nearly runs a little wide coming out of that corner there. Aiden doing his best to stay in his slipstream. But that isn't... No, and Dutra's away. He's gone.
It's that little bit of false hope. You get behind Dutra, you're like, maybe I can get that toe. And then Dutra just engages like a secret FTL drive and is gone the next second.
And it's now, that gap between him and Sandai is closing with every moment, every passing moment. Now down to under 7 seconds.
And remember during the...
Looks like Sandite's going to be diving into the pits at the end of this lap anyway, so Dutra should get out in front to run a few more clean laps before he has to make his next stop.
That should make the final stint very interesting, because those who are running the two-stop strategy might have a lot of chasing to do, but obviously on faster tires.
So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. If Dutra can keep his pace, he's on a good pace. He should be able to stay clear, but the rest of the podium is probably going to be up for grabs after that little spin from Toasty. As we got Wonka's just now starting his next lap. So we'll have to keep an eye on that gap for those one-step guys.
Toasty back into that third position. R Rider and Azazel about 3-4 seconds behind him. As pit stops are still underway. KG looking, gets a little sideways, saves it, and is still behind Sellet. It looks like Sandite's taking a...
Looks like Willie picked up a penalty early in the lap. He's going to have to deal with that on the next lap around. KG is sticking with Sellet throughout this race. They've been having a little battle.
It looks like, I was going to say Kinetic maybe got out of the pits before Sandite, but it doesn't seem to be the case. Nope. Looks like it.
No,
and
he does. He makes the overtake, the little more heat in those tires. He's going to have the grip going into Rouge.
55 seconds, the gap between Kinetic and Dutra right now. So we will see if Dutra can keep that gap going to maybe have it to where they can have that second pit stop and still be in the lead, if not close to the podium.
It's going to depend on how much gas Dutra takes. So a pit stop around here for grabbing tires with no gas is about 35 seconds. So you're looking at about 20 seconds of fuel play for Dutra there. Depending on how much gas he gets on his pit stops, it could be close. If he plays it right, though, he might get back out first.
Is it me, or has it gotten a little more overcast too, by the way?
Looking a bit grey out there, isn't it? Although that might be good for the tires, a little cooler track. But if it starts to rain, that could make...
It'd be good for the spectators if we got some rain.
Rain now a possibility in this fight. Only a little over halfway done with the race now, 33 minutes in. A lot of racing to go, so still the possibility for rain is there.
That would really upset everyone on a one-stop, because they will then need to make an extra stop to change tires if it starts raining heavy, unless they want to risk it and maintain the mediums.
It depends.
In the rain.
It depends on how bad the rain gets. I know I know at the start sometimes you can get away with staying on the dries for a little longer, maybe 1 or 2
It's
laps.
also going to depend on if it rains when the track gets to the wet point. Like, if it starts getting wet when the first couple of guys have passed the pits, it's going to be catastrophic for them.
Looking through, our rider back behind Azazel. Looking like a good... Working together right now, trying to catch the top 3 guys. And Dutra's just flying right now. The gap now almost 57 seconds. And the wipers are on, so we might be getting some rain right now.
Yeah.
Windshield wipers are on, so we're gonna get a little something at least for the second part of this race. We'll see what happens. Hopefully it comes in hot and heavy like Spa is known for.
Oh, you can see it coming down now. I can actually see the spots of rain. Oh, Dutra has a little squirrely moment there. I wonder if that's because the track is now starting to get a bit slippery.
Yeah, it looks like on the backside of the track down that's coming up to the bus stop, they've got some water on the track there. The water meter is rising slowly but steadily. Oh, the rain is coming down hard for Dutra right now.
Ooh.
Rain almost at that little first, like the wet meter almost at that first tick now for Dutra. We've got some weather complications in this race.
Absolute downpour on Dutra as he's coming through the bus stop now. They might be able to get one more lap out of it, but if the rain's coming in like this, it's gonna get sketchy. You might be wanting to think about intermediates at the end of this stint.
Wonka going to stay out as well. Let's see what Toasty does. If Toasty's willing to
rig, too dry to go for inners yet. But those guys are probably looking at their in-car radar. We don't have access to that. So they may know. It may just be a little Passover shower. It may be something here.
I saw a few cars with their headlights on. Azazel's got his off.
As Dutra's coming up the Kimmel Straight, he's not got much rain up there. So the water that's passing over is coming from the bottom of the track. It's going. It looks like the rain's coming in the same direction as the wind.
KG's starting to look a little low on fuel and looking a little low on that medium tire wear right now. You got to think he's probably thanking the rain gods in near Spa for having another little bit of rain to try and maybe get the field bunched back up. That rain definitely getting down because the wet meter's just almost a third full.
Yeah, but still light rain right now. Dutra, but it is enough to where the track is getting wet. It's picking up. Oh, we're gonna get into a situation. It looks like some of these two-stop guys are coming to the end of their second stint, so this might be playing well into their favor. But at the way it's looking, it's going to be questionable for the one-stop guys because you're probably going to have a couple of laps where half the track is suitable for wet tires and half the track is still too dry to put wets on. So you're going to have to make a choice on whether you want to push it and drive cautious on the wet part or whether you want to try to nurse some wet tires and see. Don't think we're really at the crossover point for wet tires yet, but it's definitely approaching. The back half of the track is getting wet.
The top 5, the guys, the wet meter is right at or slightly over the first tick.
So Toasty's coming in for his next stint. We'll see what he's doing here.
I assume that'll be his last stop of the race, but I'll put on another set of mediums, even softs for the rain, or if he picks the intermediates. I don't think the track is wet enough for
It's not wet enough to go intermediates yet, but if the rain sticks around any longer, it's gonna be really wet, like coming through the bus stop and all those turns before it. So it's gonna be quite a decision. Like, you're gonna have maybe 20% of the track, but you're gonna wish you had wet tires on.
As it seems like for half the track still definitely dry. Then as you get further down, it grades back up. Dutra doing
rain not seeming to be a problem for Dutra though. He's increasing that lead up nearly 15 seconds now on Wonka.
It looks like maybe the rain has stopped. Wipers are off.
Yeah, it might be just a little shower. It's gonna be kind of slick down there, but it's not slick enough for wets.
As we'd like to say in ACC, the track conditions are, at the moment, probably greasy down that sector.
As we see Dutra get a little wide with it.
Yep.
Coming out of this turn.
You will feel the lack of the less amount of grip, but it's still not enough for those wets to come out for sure. As Dutra getting close to their fuel and their tire life, probably considering pitting here either now or in the next couple of seconds. I do think he's gonna come in though. And
Yeah,
that
looks like Toasty took about 70% of a fuel tank, and he came out on mediums.
the gap
Dutra's
between
in.
the gap
Wonka's
between
diving in.
Sandite was about a minute behind Dutra, so we'll see if Dutra's still able to keep ahead of Sandite.
Azazel's diving in. Alright, so we're gonna know. Ryder's coming in as well. We'll see what Wheelie does, if Wheelie's gonna pit yet or if he's gonna stick it out for another couple of laps. He's gonna stick it out for another lap at least. We'll see Wheelie pull into the lead here.
Looks like Sellett's gonna stay out again too.
Yep, Sellett's on the hard tires. He's got some gas to go a little longer, so it looks like Sandite is going to move up into 4th place. Looks like Dutra's getting out of the pits before him, but the rest of them, Wonka's going to kick out right behind Sandite. It's going to kick out between Sandite and Fullness Kinetics, so we're going to have a little battle here for the podium. Willie and Sellett still have another pit stop left. Then from Sandite, Wonka, Kinetic, Aiden, Matic, and Toasty are all done with their pits for the race, so there's no telling what could happen for the rest of this podium. Dutra's in an optimal position. As long as he holds it tight, doesn't get any commentators' curses or self-bins, he might be able to pull away with the victory, but still got to hold on for another 18 minutes.
18 minutes at Spa, not a super long time as Willie goes wide there, but definitely it feels like an eternity when you're in that driver's seat.
As we saw earlier, anything can happen. I mean, you hit the gas on the wrong curb, or you get a little wide, you just start spinning, can ruin your race. So Dutra's got to stay focused. He's got to stay in the car and try to just.
But he's already knocked off about 4 seconds of that time he had behind Willie. I think even if Willie wasn't to make a pit stop, the speed that Dutra has, he would be able to close that gap in the next 15 minutes.
I think so, but a big moment from Dutra right there. Gets sideways coming out of the turn, almost loses the car. As you guys will see here in a second.
He did manage to save it.
He did, but those are the kind of moments you want to avoid when you're trying to win a race. As I see Willie's coming up into the bus stop area, expect him to dive into the pits on this lap.
Indeed he does. So Dutra gonna re-inherit the lead. Dominant performance by that 21 car, having stayed mostly in the front for the entire duration of this hour-long race so far.
Yeah. Unfortunate. I think it would have been quite a battle between him and Toasty if Toasty didn't have that moment earlier in the race. But I think Toasty's still on for a podium fight.
Wonka looking to fight for a podium position right now, close behind Sandite. And Sell It not too far ahead of them.
Right on Sandite's bumper here, right on his gearbox there. Making his presence known, he makes a move down the inside.
Wonka with the purple first sector too, he's putting in some laps. Oh, what a move on Sandite. Makes it stick around the outside.
Ooh, very close there.
Sandite looking for the switchback, but Wonka's got too much space for him there. Now we'll be looking to hunt down Sell It.
Yeah, Sandite's going to want to stick close to Wonka because right now they both have tires in that window. Sandites are probably going to go out first, but when Wonka's go, they're going to go faster. So if he can stay close, he might be able to make that overtake happen again late in the race.
As things settle out on my end, I got a little bit jumpy with the net connection. Thor's not happy with me right now. Dutra just pulling away, almost 8 seconds away. And Wonka very close to Sell It right now. Maybe looking to try and get a 1-2 for LRC.
Yeah. I think he's going to make the move here. No. He's going to go for it around the outside.
No.
See, it should be interesting. If he doesn't make it before the bus stop, we'll see what happens. Sell It's definitely going to dive into the pit on this lap, so hopefully Wonka realizes that he needs to pit and will stay out of the way. It looks like he's not going to make any passes here through the bus stop.
Sandite right on Wonka's.
We have a battle between Wonka and Sandite, yes. Giving him no room to breathe.
Looks like that little fight between Sell It and Wonka slowed him down enough for Sandite to capitalize and stay close to Wonka's bumper. As battle for 5th place heating up, Aiden, Maddock, Toasty, and Azazel.
Maddock picks up a penalty coming up. Radio, that's gonna hurt him. On this lap.
Very on the minimum side of things, Aiden gonna lose 2 positions, and we'll see how far back.
I think that's going to become a fight between Aiden and Ryder once he served that penalty.
It's going to be tight. Yeah, he's probably going to fall in between Ryder and Azazel.
And I think we should be back. Maybe. It's trying.
Oh, you got it back.
Trying.
I'm watching.
It keeps dropping.
No.
Yeah, it keeps dropping.
Just as we get to the climax.
I know. This is literally what happened with the LRC Division 1 race earlier this week. Like, you can't make this up, man.
You need to get yourself a Starlink or something.
I should! At this point, Xfinity's making me really upset right now. We're gonna let the stream ride out for a second. It looks like it's recovering slowly.
I think. Oh no! It looked like Toasty was about to make a move. Is he gonna make a move around the outside? No, he's not.
No, he's
quite
not.
got the pace. He's looking for a gap though.
And I think we're good on the broadcast side of things again. Just in time for the climax of the race. Toasty, Kinetic, and Azazel in a very close fight for fourth. As we have about just a little more than 5 minutes left to go.
We're back.
Man, Toasty's not letting up on Kinetic right now. And neither is Azazel on Toasty. Dutra, I think, is definitely gonna pull away and just basically needs to coast and not spin the car. And should have first place locked up.
He should. That last lap for Dutra is going to be a little questionable, though. Looks like they're going to end up. He's going to end up having to put in a 24th lap. They're going to do an.
This battle for fourth is so far the thing to watch right now. Zutra's got that 10-second gap. And Sandite's still about 3.5 seconds away from Wonka. So we'll stick with this battle for fourth right now. As Toasty looks...
Toasty gets a bump from Azazel and moves past Fullness Kinetic. They both go through a little bit of teamwork from the LRC guys. Squirtle Squad cars just sent Toasty to the stratosphere in speed.
Now Azazel gonna have to make up that speed to get back to Toasty.
He has a good line going through the bus stop. A little squirrely on the exit, but puts the power down. Let's see what they can do. Unfortunately, it looks like for Fullness Kinetic, they're going to have one more lap after this one. I don't know if he's going to quite have the tires or fuel to make 24. A little bit of a rough run for Fullness Kinetic. Most everybody else looks like they're going to be good. KG might be questioning his fuel at the end, but I don't think he's going to make a 24th.
And it's Hazel looking to make the move down the outside on Toasty here. He moves into 4th. Can he make it stick? Oh!
Looks like it.
Yeah. Looks like I think Toasty's in a similar boat to Fullness Kinetic. He was anticipating a 23-lap race, but the pace here was too quick. These guys drove too fast. They're going to have to do an extra lap.
It's still a tight fight for 4th right now. Toasty not wanting to give up on just handing that position to Azazel. Still a little less than a second behind. But that fuel, I'm kind of wondering.
Oh, well. A couple of them that are getting kind of questionable in the fuel. And it's going to be tight for them making another lap, too.
Dutra's starting to run a little low on fuel, but this should be the last lap. 20 seconds till that 60-minute mark.
Azazel's going to pull in for one more.
Azazel gonna have to basically just baby that those tires.
But Azazel's managed to put a decent gap between himself and Toasty, so as long as he doesn't make any mistakes, he should be able to maintain that 4th position.
Alright, so it's locked in. Willie finishes in 9th place. Looks like Sellett's going to wrap up 10th, KG at 11th. Fullness is probably not got enough gas to make the lap. He definitely doesn't have the tires. Looks like 8th is his. We've got a pretty intense battle between Ryder and Aiden Maddock for 6th place. And it looks like the only position fight we're going to have for this last lap. The rest of the guys are kind of spaced out. Both of these guys right now are no fuel, no tires, just fighting on hopes and dreams for that 6th position.
No shirt, no shoes.
Just throwing it all out there. That'd be tough, man. Ryder trying to keep concentration with Mr. Bean just staring into your soul.
Ryder's making it work though. He's staying right there. That fuel though.
Yeah, he's running out of track to make a move. Yeah, and I don't know.
I don't think he's got the fuel to try to make a
Can't
move.
push now.
Oh, guys, Kinetic is completely out.
No.
Yeah, he's Kinetic is out of gas.
Kinetic is completely out. And also has a 2.5 second penalty.
That Dutra coming round the bus stop now. First across the line and makes it look easy.
Dutra takes the win.
Wonka coming in close behind, gonna take 2nd place.
The 2nd place for Wonka looks like Sandite coming through the bus stop's gonna round out the podium, putting the ARL on the podium both races. Good race from Sandite.
Azazel coming in at 4th.
Azazel and Toasty rounding out 4 and 5, and Aiden is caught up with Toasty. He's riders on his last fumes. Gonna bring home 7th.
I think we're gonna be here for a while because it's gonna take a little bit for Kinetic to get to the line. If they can
it's
make
gonna
it.
end in about 18 seconds.
Okay.
He's also got a 2.5 second penalty to serve with no fuel. That must be so
no
frustrating.
fuel. Kinetic probably was definitely not
But
expecting the extra
I do like
lap.
his Hawaiian punch. It's making me thirsty. And there we have it. Oh, great racing.
Dutra, victory from pole. Well done.
And it is a LRC 1-2 with ARL taking the third and final position on the podium for this race. Dinosaur Ads, thank you for joining me for sure for this race. I think my net is fully dying, so I think that's going to be it for the broadcast.
Thanks for having
good
us.
Race. Thanks for the ARL for joining us. Whooped us in that first race. I'm glad we did a little better in the second. I'm sure we'll run it back with a different car and track combo with these guys again in the future. That was some good, fun, clean racing. And yeah, that's it. If you're watching the stream, check us out on Tuesdays. We stream all our league races. We're in the middle of a NASCAR season, 2 divisions. Gonna take it to Watkins Glen this week. So catch us on Tuesday.
Bye.
I would put the links in. Again, I don't have them because the stream chat scrolled too far up. But thanks for joining us. I will not be running the stream on Tuesday, so you shouldn't have to worry about any crazy thunderstorms knocking us out every couple of 45 minutes or so. But that'll do it for us. On the LRC side of things, we will see you on the broadcast again on Tuesday. ARL guys, thank you for tuning in. Definitely check them out in their Discord as well. I'm Kaito NASA, the VTuber for LRC, and I will see y'all out on the track.